The 15 supernatural French creatures. This type of hobgoblin is also referred to in other cultures as dwarf, elf, fairy, gnome, imp, leprechaun, pixie, sprite, and many other things. But the Luton figure is primarily in the folklore of Normandy, and they may either be good or evil. Just like its Anglo-Saxon counterparts, Luton also play a role in Christmas, as they are the ones who assist Père Noël. Tarasque. This creature of legend was said to hail from the area of Nerluc in Provence, and is basically a mishmash of creature limbs and animal spare parts. It looks like a dragon but has the head of a lion, 3 pairs of short bear-like legs, and a body like an ox which is covered with a turtle's shell. On top of all that, it also has a scaly tail that ends with a scorpion's tail. Each part is of course designed to maim, or kill if you're lucky enough to escape a horrific traumatized future. Legend says that the king of Nerluc battled the Tarasque with knights and weapons. But only Saint Martha was able to tame the beast through prayers and hymns. Despite being tamed, the townspeople still killed the creature, but later on regretted doing so after Martha preached to them about Christianity. To make up for what they've done, they renamed the town Tarascon in honor of the slain beast. The Nain Rouge, or literally the Red Dwarf, is a kind of Luton that also hails from Normandy. Described as small and childlike with blazing red eyes and long rotten teeth, this nasty little bugger is not something to be messed with. Red or black fur boots complete his getup, but don't let the devilish leer fool you. He's not merely a trickster, he is also feared as a harbinger of doom. The Nain Rouge is popular in Detroit, Michigan, and is a mainstay in local urban legends. It is said that the Nain Rouge may be spotted prior to major catastrophic events, and was seen before the Battle of Bloody Run, the fire in 1805, the War of 1812, the 12th Street Riot in 1967, and the snowstorm in 1976. As of present, there is an annual costume parade in Michigan that features burning of the Nain Rouge effigy, as a way to drive off the pesky dwarf for another year. The Lucarcal. He's an epic snail monster with long tentacles and massive serpent-like body that mostly hides underground, until he's ready to snap at you and paralyze you with his hairy slimy limbs. Then he eats you with his huge gaping mouth. By his long tentacles, it can extend up to several miles, and there's really no hope of escape when you come across Lucarcal. This serpent mollusk hybrid is said to live in the underground caverns of southwest France and carries a shell on its back just like a normal snail. Dames Blanches. Dames Blanches literally mean white ladies. And there's probably a version of this where you're from. Some consider them ghosts while others classify them as female supernatural beings or fey folk. In France, the Dames Blanches are popular in the regions of Lorraine and Normandy, and were said to appear in Occitan, the Pyrenees Mountains, and various other sightings. They are said to lurk near caverns, ravines, bridges, and other narrow places where they can attract the attention of people passing through. They are generally not too mean or evil, but they could still do some damage if you don't play up to their whims and demands. Kinda like female bandits, but the supernatural kind. Mythical, or Mandigot. This mythical creature was passed along through stories across generations in southern France, and is basically a spirit in animal form. Among its favorite forms include black cat, dog, cow, fox, or even rat. While considered to be evil, other accounts say that Madigots or Mandagots can be actually helpful and could even bring wealth to a home if it is well fed, especially with fresh and plump chicken. There are plenty of versions on how to care for your Madigot, but the bottom line is if you get something out of it, expect to give something in return too. He's all about quid pro quo. Loup-garou. The loup-garou can be known as roux-garou, is a French legend of a human who changes into a wolf at his or her own will. The word loup is a French word that means wolf, and garou is an old Frankish word similar to werewolf. The legend says that when a person comes into contact with a loup-garou and sheds the blood of the beast, the loup-garou will then change to its human form and reveal their secret. The victim then becomes a loup-garou for 101 days. If the victim speak of the encounter to anyone, they become a loup-garou themselves. But if they remain quiet about it, they will return to their human form and continue on with their lives. Peluda, or La Velou, the hairy one, originally in French, is a mythical beast that terrorized the environs of the river Huis in France during the Middle Ages. It is called the shaggy beast, the hairy beast, of Lawford Bernard. The serpent-headed creature had a body covered in long green fur with poison-tipped spines protruding. It caused flood, or shot out fire from its mouth, that destroyed crops, devoured livestock and humans, and struck humans and animals dead with its tail. It was defeated after it tried to prey upon a maiden named Lignell. Her fiancé slew it by delivering a sword strike to the tail. Its only weak spot. Foo-follet. The foo-follet is some sort of atmospheric ghost light which appears in shades of faint bluish glow, or sometimes even yellowish reddish or greenish. It appears suspended in air, sometimes flickering, and often appears just briefly at night above cemeteries, swamps, or bogs. Aside from its ghostly light, foo-follet are generally harmless. But beware, as these wisps are said to be spirits of the dead or supernatural beings which, when followed, will lead to your death. The cheval mallet, or mallet meaning mallet horse, describes a fabulous and evil horse mentioned in folklore around the French areas of Vendée, Poitou, and more frequently in the Pays de Retz near Lac de Grand Loup. It was supposed to appear at night or in the middle of the night as a beautiful white or black horse, saddled and bridled, and tempt travelers exhausted by a long journey. Several legends about the unwary who rode this horse and never returned unless you have them on the price of travel or protection spell as a medal of Saint Benedict. Beast of Gévaudan. It's the scary fact that this was actually recorded in history. There was actually a man-eating wolf dog that wreaked havoc on the former province of Gévaudan, or what is presently known as Lazare-en-Haute-Loire, between 1764 and 1767. There were a series of reported attacks by what eyewitnesses described as beasts with huge teeth and massive tails. The victims' throats were torn out and it resulted to over 100 deaths. Some of the victims were also partly eaten. Melusine. The Melusine is a feminine spirit that seems to resemble a mermaid. And she is popular in the folklores of the northern French regions. She lives in rivers and springs and other fresh waters, and is sometimes featured with wings or one or two tails that could either be a serpent's or a fishtail. Quinator. The quinator is a Latin word which means bull with 5 horns. But it is actually a mythical sea creature which first appeared in the Chronicles of Fredegar, a 7th century record written in Burgundy. In the chronicle, the quinator is said to have sired the line of Merovingian kings when it attacked the wife of a Frankish king. Giever. Another dragon serpent type of monster. This creature has the head of a dragon and a venom breath. It is said to have wandered the medieval French countryside. They like to live near damp places such as forests, lakes and small natural pools. The Giever is somewhat similar to wyverns. Gargawi. This legendary water-spouting dragon with 4 legs and bat-like wings is said to have terrorized the Seine River. But Saint Roman, the Archbishop of Rouen, saved the day by taming the Gargawi through the sign of the cross. The monster's neck and head was then mounted on the town's cathedral as a way of displaying God's power. Later on, the creature began to be carved in buildings as drainage, and eventually it became the modern gargoyle in architecture.